Now, here in this case, we've heard that there have been conversations between him and the other collegium members that whenever some name was proposed, he said that this will not be acceptable to the government and let's send only those names which will be acceptable by the government.
You are saying that he deliberately delivered half justice in all cases.
Yes, this half judgment, so as to please this party, you were very happy. Oh, it's been exposed, and on the other side, you do not bring it to the logical end.
Justice Prakash, but would you say that he compromised, with the powers to be, or he prostrated before them? He became over accommodative for the powers to be.
In the administrative side, the stories that we've heard, I would say yes, he was over accommodating, and much to the damage of the institution. If you have to show that there is separation of powers, should the Chief Justice of India and the Prime Minister of India seen doing a private puja together? If there was indeed a separation of powers. I'm told, on the Supreme Court website, you can't see, what are the type of cases pending, since when are they pending, why are they pending? Nobody knows. So what is this computerization are you talking about?
No, but did Justice Chandrachud deserve to become the Chief Justice of India?
By virtue of his lineage, of course he deserved to be a Chief Justice of India. He was Justice Chandrachud's son. A very blue-eyed boy. Everybody said he was a blue-eyed boy.
I'm just concluding the program now. So your last comments on Justice DY Chandrachud. Yes.
I feel sorry for him. If I was his mother, I'm telling you, sincerely, I would have felt sorry for him. Sincerely. There's something really wrong, something really wrong. So insecure. I mean, like all this comes from that, I'm unhappy. I'm sad for him.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Today was the last day of Chief Justice of India, DY Chandrachud, where he delivered the much-awaited verdict on the minority status of the Aligarh Muslim University. That verdict also was not complete. But people are asking that how would you remember Justice DY Chandrachud? Because just a few weeks before, if you remember, he was at a function where he said that as my tenure is coming to an end, my mind has been heavily preoccupied with fears about the future and the past. And he also said that I find myself pondering over questions such as, did I achieve anything I set out to do? How will history judge my tenure? And could I have done things which were differently? What legacy will I leave for future generations of judges and legal professionals? Now the time has come to talk about Justice Chandrachud. Did he do justice to the position he held? Did he live up to the stature of the office of Chief Justice of India? Joining me now is former Patna High Court Judge, Justice Anjana Prakash. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining. And as we speak, the tenure of Justice DY Chandrachud has come to an end, and the questions which were haunting his mind, that how will people remember him? The first question I would want to ask you is that why should people remember Justice DY Chandrachud?
Actually, this introspection of his, as he said, that I'm introspecting, thinking as to what people will think about me, or what is it that I'm leaving behind in the judiciary and all. I think it was a very personal matter which he should have asked himself. He cannot ask the public, as to what people think of him, what is the legacy that is he is leaving behind. For the simple reason, there is something called a fraction of time, and you understand the importance of a thing only in time perspective. So suppose, 1 year gone, one would be able to look back and say that this is what, something that he had done. But immediately on demitting office, to think, that people will start talking about his legacy just because he spent 40 years in the as a judge, doesn't hold good. It's not possible for any person, to be thinking like that. You should, I mean, like, I would think that he's a very I used to think that he's a very modern man, and therefore he should be asking modern questions. And this is not one of it. I would think that he would think, what did he actually do to strengthen the constitution further? Because a modern man who's been a judge would want himself to to think, that he is one person who has been given the power, the divine power of interpreting the constitution and deciding all the disputes within the constitutional framework. So I would think, as a modern man, this is the question that he should have been asking, and not what legacy he is leaving behind. Leaving behind, that only history will decide, not us. And history, as is written by different people with different angles, with different slants, etc. So everybody will have a say about what he's done to the judiciary. But since he's asked, this question, therefore he's exposed himself to a barrage, of questionings and comments and literally trolling. For example, everybody now, feels, very licensed, one would say, or feels free to comment about this as to what he has done for the judiciary. It is because he asked this question. If he had not asked this question, none of us would have discussed all this. But because he's asked this question, without, and I'm sure that he was not waiting for any reply. He was not asking a question. He was only speaking aloud. Because clever as he is, he would also know that it is not this, that he has not faced any criticism, that he's done no wrong, that his judgments, some of them, reek of things which should not have happened. It's not like this that he's conscious of it. So if he's conscious of it, he would not ask this question.
But the big question, ma'am, is that did Justice Chandrachud, you were talking about that, did he strengthen the constitution? But did he bring disrepute to the office of the Chief Justice of India by doing many, many things which were
In
never supposed?
some ways, he did that. And I will say this, there are, as I explained in some other interview as well, that the Chief Justice of a High Court or the Supreme Court of India, they have two kind of powers. One is on the administrative side, and the other is the judicial side. On the judicial side, you decide matters, and you allocate rosters, etc. But the Chief Justice has the final power to even withdraw cases from somebody else if he thinks, that there's something wrong somewhere. Okay. So now this is the judicial side. The administrative side is that you decide, a lot of things, even in the High Court level, about transfer of the judicial officers, about, and then the collegium decides at the High Court as well as the Supreme Court, the judges who are going to be appointed. Now, here in this case, we've heard that there have been conversations between him and the other collegium members, that whenever some name was proposed, he said that this will not be acceptable to the government, and let's send only those names which will be acceptable by the government. There are two, three things, in this. First is that he is having secret parleys with the government, and therefore there is some kind of a communication which is not healthy, happening between the office of the Chief Justice and the government, where this kind of conversation is going on. This in itself is very bad. Now, to after that even comply and say, let's not do this and let's only send these names, shows a further erosion of the office of the powers or the authority or the dignity of the Chief Justice of India's office. I would say, I would look at it like this.
Justice Prakash, if I may ask you very candidly, that you would call him a bright spot of the judiciary, whether you would call him a dishonest judge, or you would say that he was a judge who tried to become very, very accommodative for the powers to be.
See, dishonesty can be of many kinds. When we talk about in very common parlance, we talk about dishonesty, that, you've taken money and this and that, that's what a dishonest judgment is. But according to me, and according to most people, a dishonest judgment is also that which decides against the law. If there is, a law in place and you do not decide it according to the law, then and purposely so, then that is also dishonesty. For example, I would say in Loya case, what happened? Here was the family of Justice Loya, who did not want anything else except an impartial inquiry into his death. They were not blaming anyone. They were not pointing fingers. They were not doing anything. So, what was the wrong that they did? And why did this Chief Justice dismiss that prayer, which was very legitimate in our scheme of things, in our procedural criminal law? Why did he dismiss it and make it absolute even for future times to come? Is that honesty? That is against the procedural, mandate, and therefore I would think, that was dishonest. And similarly, where this electoral bond was concerned, when you play to the public, according to me, a judge should not play, to the public, and therefore all this, that a poor man should get immediate justice and a rich man should not get justice immediately, I'm against that. Be it poor, be he rich, anyone, irrespective, everyone should get equal treatment. So what happens was that when you talked about electoral bonds, what did you do? You exposed, the procedure, that this was wrong. But what is a judge supposed to do? A judge is supposed to always bring the litigation to a conclusion, to the logical conclusion. He did not do that. After that, you say there is ill-gotten money, and all the political parties have the ill-gotten money, and then you condone that. So you condone dishonesty. It's like Indira Gandhi saying at one time that dishonesty is something which is a worldwide phenomena, and then you let it pass. Is that what we've come to?
You are saying that he deliberately delivered half justice in all cases.
Yes, this half judgment, so as to please this party, you were very happy. Oh, it's been exposed, and on the other side, you do not bring it to the logical end. So you're left frustrated. It is not, and then to justify it, that if a judge decides something against the government, then he's very good, and if he decides, in his favor, then he's dishonest. That's not the point. I mean, like, he's trying to fool somebody by saying this. Nobody says this. People always say against such a government, in favor of the government. What must be decided is as per law. And if you decide something as per law, there is no question that anybody is going to call you dishonest. No question. And
No, but
so
while he's
you're
making
passing it off and making it into some kind of a joke. Oh, if you're anti-government, then you're very good. And if it's not like that.
no, but
I as a lawyer, I have suffered, very foolish judges, very, all kinds of judges. We have obviously, we are you. human beings are full of fallacies. So we've seen, lots of fallacious judges, and you don't have any complaint against them for the simple reason that it is beyond their understanding to think anything more than that. But if you have, an understanding and you deliberately do something, according to me, that is dishonesty.
While Chandrachud made those speeches which were out of the court, whether it was in a seminar, or it was at his village, or it was at some public function, uh, while he was making those speeches, and he was all over the news headlines, did you think that people were fools? People didn't understand. People couldn't see through him while speaking.
See, Neelu, what I think is that people like to say things which others like to hear. So if I go to a seminar and say, one must work very well, one must be very, punctual and do this and do that and all that, it suits everyone. There is no controversy, there is no conflict. The test of a person is only when there is a conflict. When you go and give lectures in a seminar, there is no conflict. Nobody is questioning you about anything. But, but when you're doing it, in a judgment which would be open to scrutiny, that's when the test of the man is then, not otherwise. Yeah, people may, it's very easy for somebody who's posted at a place where there is no scope for bribery and say, I don't take bribes. Of course you don't take bribes because you don't have an opportunity to take bribes. But the point is, when you're sitting in an office, when there's an opportunity to take bribes and you don't take it, only then you can be called honest. And that is, it's a very simple rule. It's not something for, that people will not be able to understand such a simple thing. And all this about, this legacy and all that, unfortunately, I was in conversation with one Justice G. Raghuram. He is to be director of NJ, National Judicial Academy at Bhopal. You know what he told me? That every time, even for the High Court and Supreme Court judges, whenever they came for a seminar, he would show them Carl Sagan's short video. Okay, it's called the Pale Blue Dot. It is about, on 14 to 1990, Voyager 1 went 6 billion kilometers away from the Earth and clicked pictures and sent it over, which were, translated. And which were translated in a very philosophical way. He tries to tell you that you're nobody in the scheme of things. You are just one little speck somewhere, and you think, that you are somebody who's like, so much, nobody bothered about you. If you go and ask your cook who the Chief Justice is, do you think he'll tell you who he is? It's in the legal circles that we're talking about, a section of people who are, bothered about the legal, whatever the legal system, I would say, legal system, who think, who he is and all that. Who else is bothered? Do we know who the Chief Justice of Bosnia is? Who is retired? What legacy is he leaving? What? I mean, like, this is so small. You're nothing. You're nothing. Every person, each of us, is nothing but, a minuscule dust in the scheme of things. What are we? What are we?
Justice Prakash, but would you say that he compromised, with the powers to be, or he prostrated before them? He became over accommodative for the powers to be.
In the administrative side, the stories that we've heard, I would say yes, he was over accommodating, and much to the damage of the institution. After all that hi-fi judgment about NJAC, and the judiciary should have the last say in appointment of judges and all that high-flown thing, what did it come to? So this is obviously you're trying to compromise with the judge, with the government. So it is not something like an anti, you're with the government or without whichever government it may be. If we are talking about separation of powers, if the judiciary leans towards the executive, what would you think? Obviously, this is not done. There's something like people keep on repeating like a cliche. Justice has not to be done, not only to be done, it is seen to be done, etc., etc. All these cliche things people say. What is this then? If you have to show that there is separation of powers, should the Chief Justice of India and the Prime Minister of India seen doing a private puja together? If there was indeed a separation of powers. If it was a personal matter, sure, let it remain personal. Why should it be public? And for him to go and justify it and say that, no secret talks, etc., or whatever, goes on in such meetings, then how does it go on, please? Let us know that. It means that there is something more to it.
No,
How
but
does it happen then?
despite the fact that there is a conduct of rules, for the judges, but
Hmm.
if it is not being followed, then
Hmm.
is it time now to write
Yes.
it in black and white that, look, this is what the apex court judges should not do at all? Now,
It
is
is. Why only apex judges? The Bangalore principles of judges, as I've talked about it in some places and all that, and I've written also about it. It's very clear that you should not do anything which would give even a little bit of a hint to the general public that you may not be fair, you may not be impartial.
no,
You're not
but did
supposed to
you
do
hear
that.
Justice Chandrachud how he justified it when he went to the Adda program, and he said that it requires the judiciary to socially mingle with the executive, and always the deals are
Absolutely
not
wrong.
cut. This is what he said, that we don't
He's
cut deals.
absolutely wrong. He's absolutely wrong. Judges are supposed to go only when there is a public function. And when they come, it's like we go to their function, they would come to our function. It's just that and nothing else. It's the protocol is very fixed. You're supposed to go here, you're not supposed to go there. It's all very the protocol oriented. And you're right, that this is the time to revisit the Bangalore principles. And not only this, I think the roster system which prevails now, which gives powers to the chief justice of whichever high court and chief of the Supreme Court, or the chief justice of an institution, gives powers. There should be some method which is completely like computerized, and nobody has a personal say in the matter. So I have a scheme which I will hopefully be able to crystallize and publish it someplace, where I've said that there are certain judges who should be allocated certain types of cases, and let that roster continue for 3 months, and after that change, and then make it like that. And constitutional matters also, put them all in public domain as to how many constitutional matters there are which are pending. I'm told on the Supreme Court website you can't see what are the type of cases pending, since when are they pending, why are they pending, nobody knows. So what is this computerization are you talking about? We should know, no, that the cases are pending since 1960,
Right.
1959. For all that you don't know since when cases are pending. So if they do that, and there are constitutional matters which are specially allocated to the first judge, third judge, fifth judge, seventh judge, ninth judge, irrespective of who it is, why should only the top few be be part of the constitutional benches? After all, the last judge has also been a chief justice somewhere, and he's senior enough to listen to hear constitutional matters. So everyone should hear. So they could have, that this constitutional matter, it requires 5 judges, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, irrespective. Don't apply your mind to it. Finish. And see, people take this plea of having expertise in a certain area of law. No expertise is no expertise is required. Let me tell you, from a judge's point of view, no expertise of any kind is required. All that you need to do is read, and you will understand what the law is all about. This
I'm
roster
going to
system
ask
also
you.
should go.
Right. So I'm going to ask you some very candid questions now related to Justice DY Chandrachud. And just a few weeks, I think not even a week, Dushyant Dave had given an interview to a digital platform where he said that one should not remember Justice DY Chandrachud. And I'm asking you a very candid question. Should people remember Justice D.Y. Chandrachud? Because you said that he's damaged the reputation of the Supreme Court. You said he did not live up to the office of the Chief Justice of India. He looked compromised. There was dishonesty in his judgments. So, should people remember Justice Chandrachud?
See, people will remember him surely, but I don't think as an ideal Chief Justice of India. Recently, let me tell you, just today, the Chief Justice of India, he was very keen on revamping the ladies' bar room in the Supreme Court of India. And today it was inaugurated. So I went in and saw all the sofas were pink. Okay. Now, what do you get it? It's such a typical kind of a thing. Pink is for women, blue is for men. So here is this ladies' bar room full of pink sofas. What are you trying to make us? Trying to make us into some kind of Barbie dolls or what? It's a playhouse for Barbie dolls that everything is pink, the hair is pink, the blouse is pink, the sari is pink maybe now. What is it? So the limited understanding of everything. Now you look at it recently. I must tell you now that I'm here. I must tell you, 2 or 3 days back, I had a heated exchange with a judge a sitting judge in the Supreme Court, and you know what he told me? I do not allow women to shout in my court. And I looked at him and I said, "What did you say?" He sees me not as a lawyer, he sees me as a woman. So this is what misogyny that we're talking about. And how do you clear this misogyny? How do you clear all this? This pink thing is also misogynistic.
Absolutely. But do you think that Justice Chandrachud is misogynistic when he comes up with the bar room for ladies, which is of pink sofas, as what you described? Do you think he has a misogynistic mindset?
Lord knows. I mean, like, it's either, flowing, okay, pink, you look pretty, such nice roses, pink roses, etc., etc. You do all this, Or the other thing is, the degrading statement that he made about not getting women judges, that nobody was senior enough or junior enough. We know very well rules are bent for all kinds of people, for all kinds of reasons. Women who've been in the Supreme Court may not also have deserved to be there, but they are there. Women who deserve to be there are still not there. Men judges also, some of them deserve to be there, but they are not there. For what reason? Please answer this. We're talking about a system which is supposed to be transparent. These judges talk about transparency in everything. Where is the transparency that you brought? What is the transparency? This is the transparency that is required. Every person, every lawyer needs to know, why have you brought this person here? That person does not know ABC of law and he's there as a Supreme Court judge. There are judges, all kinds of judges.
No, but did Justice Chandrachud deserve to become the Chief Justice of India?
By virtue of his lineage, of course he deserved to be a Chief Justice of India. He was Justice Chandrachud's son, a very blue-eyed boy. Everybody said he was a blue-eyed boy. And in India, we build up all these images. Oh, Phalana ka beta, such a big man's son. And then he studied there, and he studied here, and he speaks immaculate English, and he's smart-looking, and this and that, We also get into all these stereotypes, which actually works to our disadvantage. Worshipping people who are not worth worshipping. And Justice P.N. Bhagwati, somebody was saying, he's left a legacy. I'm sorry to say, he's the same P.N. Bhagwati who said that Sai Baba used to write his judgments for him. So, I mean, like, what? What? And people want to be remembered, even they've not even demitted office and they want to be remembered.
But Justice Prakash, would you say that Justice Chandrachud symbolizes or epitomizes of everything which is wrong with the judiciary?
I won't say that. It's, I mean, like too wide a statement. One mustn't say that. One mustn't say that. After all, he's a human being with clay feet, with clay feet. People must remember this, that he's a human being. First of all, he's not God incarnate. He's a human being. And he's got feet of clay. Please remember this. He can't be, absorbed of all fallacies and all faults and foibles and vanities and, all those frivolous things. To me, it appears frivolous.
So you think Chandrachud has been a frivolous judge?
No, I won't say that he's been a frivolous judge, but to be consumed with this, your self-consummation with all this is so frivolous, so frivolous.
Right.
You won't expect a mature man to think like this.
So he was full of vanity. He was full of
It's
ego.
vanity, too much of vanity. And I thought, as you remember, there is, one line which says, "Vanity, thy name is woman." They say that, na? We should say, this a woman includes a man.
Can you not say, vanity, thy name is Chandrachud?
No. I won't say that. There are so many vain people. This person the person with whom I had a spat the other day, the judge, he also was vain in saying, that I don't allow. That is vanity. That is vanity. And when I asked him, "What do you want? What did he say? What did he say?" He immediately said, "No, woman includes a man." So what is that? That is also vanity. To think, that you are somebody great sitting on the chair in the apex court. Oh God.
Okay, so
All
ma'am,
this my lord business is useless. Huh?
right. No, I'm just concluding the program now. So your last comments on Justice DY Chandrachud. Yes.
I feel sorry for him. If I was his mother, I'm telling you, sincerely, I would have felt sorry for him. Sincerely. There's something really wrong, something really wrong. So insecure. I mean, like all this comes from that, it's, I'm, uh, I'm unhappy. I'm sad for him.
Strong comments coming from you, and you also listed out very interesting instances which will really open one's eyes. And one request to the viewers who are watching this interview: please watch this interview and make it viral so that people can watch what Justice Anjana Prakash had to say about Justice DY Chandrachud. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful having you
Bye
on the
bye,
program.
bye bye. I hope I didn't say anything wrong.
No. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks. Thanks.
Yes, one must keep self doubting.
All right, ma'am. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Stay ahead with our cutting edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.